a professor at Renton Technical College, RTC. He has facilitated business classes at RTC for the past 2 years. Dr. McKinnon started his higher education career at Fayetteville Technical Community College as the chair of the business department. Preceding his higher education career, Dr. McKinnon spent 15 plus years in the restaurant and hospitality industry. There he gained an extensive amount of hands-on leadership and management experience with roles in general management, district management, and regional training management. Dr. McKinnon can often be found speaking at DECA Leadership Conferences during Washington Business Week programs and at the Black Male Summit at Highline College. He's currently getting to live out his lifelong dream lakeside in Kirkland, Washington. His interests are education, jazz, and learning to play chess.
Thanks, Alice. I appreciate you very much, ma'am. Welcome, all of you. Thank you for having me. My name is Stephen McKinnon. Let me give you a little bit of background information outside of that bio that as Alice lovely read to us. I'm a business guy. I have transitioned that into a professor here in Renton, Washington. And today I want to share with you a couple of things. Well, over the next 3 days, I want to share with you a couple of things. But before we get into that, let me tell you how I work. So I really just want to share with you some keys, some pieces, some tools that you won't learn in class, and I'm gonna try to add value to your life outside of the classroom. So I just really want to have a conversation with all of you about business, and I'll try to share my gift with you and give you some insight on. Let's assume most of you want to go into a business career and what business leaders look for when they're looking to attract people, when they're looking to hire people, when they're looking to retain people. So the theme of this is going to be the future business leaders of wherever, and that's you guys. And now let's have a conversation about that. All right. So my prereq is my stuff doesn't work if you guys don't participate. So we're just going to have a conversation. I want to see some hands up, and I'm going to call on you and you give me your perspective, and I'm going to give you my perspective. So we're just going to have an intelligent conversation amongst friends. That sounds good? All right. Hopefully Katie gave me my ability to share. I want to share my screen with you. Can you guys see this okay? And can you hear me okay? Good. So before we get started, here's my question, and I have a lot of questions. So over the next 55 minutes, you guys are gonna be like, why does Steve ask so many questions? Well, that's how I get to the nectar of what I'm trying to do. Here's my question. Over the next 3 days, you're gonna hear some key terms like effective, efficient. You're going to hear some key terms like emotional intelligence, integrity, and character, and you're going to hear them over and over and over again. Because what I really believe is when you guys go through your schooling, your formal education, you won't get what I'm about to share with you in the classroom. You're only going to get it through experiencing and going through it. So I'm going to try to give you a heads up on what's to come in your experiences. So if I say, what skills or abilities do you think effective and efficient leaders must have? What would you say? Let me see some hands up. I'm gonna read the question again. If I say, what skills / abilities do you think effective leaders, efficient leaders should have? What would you say? So I'm horrible at names. So if I mess up your name, please take it with a grain of salt. I didn't mean it. I'm horrible at names. Marcin, I saw your hand first, then I saw Colin, Kristen, then Natalie. That'll start us off. That's 4. Marcin, what you got? And
for me, it's persistence, because a good leader needs a lot of it in order to motivate the entire team to keep going.
Persistence. I'm writing that down. Colin, what you got?
I would say public speaking, because a leader needs to address his crew and be able to explain everything he needs to do.
Copy. Kristen, what you got, ma'am?
Communication skills.
Ooh, communication skills. Natalie.
Mine was also communication.
Okay, Jason, you got something new for us?
Role modeling for
Role modeling. I like that.
peers.
Role modeling. Alice, you finish us off, and then I see all of you. I promise over the next hour we will have some communication. I will call on all of you, I promise. So don't feel bad if I miss you this time around. Alice, you finish us off with, what do you think some effective skills and abilities that a leader needs?
I feel like a good leader needs to be open-minded.
Great answer. Usually when we do this face-to-face, I have candy bars that I throw out to great answers. So imagine we're face-to-face, and when you see me do this, catch that candy bar flying your way, okay? All right. So I want to provide you with some keys to be a successful business leader. No pun intended with keys, all right? Oh. So here's the mission for today. I want us to be critical thinkers. I want us to be effective communicators. I want us to be collaborative, and I want us to produce great work. If I had my own company, that's what I'm looking to hire. My friends that still work in the industry, they tell me these are the type of people that they want to attract to their business. They want someone who has the ability to analyze the cause and effect relationship. They want to be able to critically think their way through. I heard effective communication. Well, what is really effective communication? Effective communication is, I want you to be open, I want you to be honest, and I want you to be transparent. All right. Collaboration is 1 + 1 = 3. Together we make a better work than I can by myself. And the entire goal of the business is, I want to make beautiful music together, if that makes sense. All right. A limited number of you are equipped with these keys, knowledge, skills, and desires that impact, influence our ability to be effective and efficient business leaders. So here's my question to you. Why did Stephen choose the words effective and efficient that align with business leaders? Why do I need to be effective and efficient as a business leader? Anybody have an answer to that question? Why does leadership need to be effective and efficient? Odessa, what you have?
Well, maybe like I'm thinking about other settings, what the goals are. And I think that the goal in a business setting is to be effective and efficient, because at the end of the day, you're trying to get something done. Like as a business, you're trying to produce a product, you're trying to make a profit, you're trying to gain more customers. Like you have a very clear goal, and so you need to be efficient.
Good answer, Odessa. Jason, chime in.
Consistency, like being an effective business leader, you have to be really consistent with every single part that you're doing for you, your company, or your employees, or your peers.
Jason, can I ask you a question before we move on? Why does consistency matter?
Consistency can create a sort of habit. And if you're a leader, it can also influence your peers to also be consistent. Consistency can become a contagious thing for everyone in your group. And as consistency grows and spreads to other people, it creates a much better and better and consistent working force.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. So as a business leader, here's my goal. I want to attract, retain, produce independent thinkers that clearly communicate thoughts and ideas effectively through interdependent collaboration that fosters an environment of high quality creative work. That's business leaders' goal. And that's what we're trying to establish here. How do we get there? So I want to equip you with the keys. So take a look at these keys that I have on my screen here. These are the foundational keys. These are the basic keys. These are the keys just to get you to the door. I want you to be well read. Well, why do I need to be well read, Stephen? Reading is fundamental, right? Key 2, I want you to be well spoken. I need you to be able to clearly articulate thoughts and ideas, right? Key 3, I want you to be well traveled. I want you to be able to work with other people unlike yourself. So therefore, you need to be able to step outside your comfort zone and be able to communicate thoughts and ideas with people who don't talk like you, who don't look like you, who don't sound like you, right? Key 4, I want you to be well dressed, dress the part, look the part. Now, most people are going to say, well, why is that important? Because the first thing you saw was me. Before I even opened my mouth, you saw how Stephen looked. And I use that as an example, right? Then I want you to be well balanced. We'll talk about high character, high common sense, and high capability as we move on throughout this seminar. All right. Here's some other keys that I want to talk about. Leadership. So I have a question. What is leadership to you? Now, we will get into leadership on Wednesday, but here's my question. What is leadership to you? Give me a couple quick answers of what leadership is. I saw, and I'm not going to get this name right, Szymon, and tell me how you pronounce your name.
Actually, it's Simon. Just Simon, but it's a Polish way of saying Simon.
Thank you, Simon.
Well,
tell me what you think leadership is.
Leadership is, for me, an ability to control a group.
Ability to control the group. I'm going to write that down, Simon. We're going to revisit that on Wednesday. Ability to control the group. Igor, Company F, what do you have?
So in my opinion, it's kind of the ability to uplift others to like work in harmony and to work effectively.
Hey, you see that hand toss? That's coming your way, Igor. I like that. Uplift the group. Colin, what you got?
It was a little like Igor's. It was the ability to bring out the best of the group, the best of people.
I like that a lot. Marcin, what you got?
For me, it's supporting others to achieve a common goal.
Supporting others to achieve a common goal. Good answer. Bouter, what you got?
For me, it's to taking responsibilities.
Take care of responsibilities. Andrew, chime in.
To serve those who are leading.
To serve those who are leading. Interesting perspective. Jack, what you got?
The ability to lead and inspire others.
Lead and inspire others. Kristen.
Like braveness, you have to put yourself out there.
Oh, great answer, guys. I really like that. My definition of leadership is just a self-mastery of self-discipline. What do you think soft skills are? Don't read my definition. You tell me, what do you think soft skills are? Remember, I'm gonna try to introduce you to things that you may not get in your business 101 class. When you go back to class in August or September, you may not hear these things in your travel through your formal education. So I want to introduce you to these keys. So what are soft skills to you? I see Natalie with a hand up. Hi, Natalie.
To me, soft skills are your social skills and your ability to work with others.
Okay. Anybody else want to chime in? Jason, what you got?
Being open-minded to people.
Why, Jason, can I ask you a question? Why is that important to you?
Because as being a leader, you have to be open to everyone's ideas, as everyone is different. Everyone has different backgrounds. They have different opinions. So being open-minded, it allows other people to open up to different ideas, and being able to be open for it, you are able to accept those.
Great perspective, Jason. Thank you. Elijah, what you have?
The abilities outside of like just of the just coldness of business, I guess.
Interesting. The outer layer of business. Is that what you're trying to say, Elijah?
Yeah, I think so.
Got you. Anybody else? Talk to me about emotional intelligence, your ability, and so let me go back to soft skills, how you get along with others and how you're wired, your personality. Now talk to me about emotional intelligence. I'm gonna tell you it's controlling one's emotions and your reaction to others, but tell me what you think emotional intelligence is. Chris, hello.
Hi. I would say people react to emotional statements as a way to motivate them or emotions. So emotional intelligence is knowing how to regulate your own emotions in order to get the best results.
Great answer, Chris. Candy bar coming your way. Julia, hello, ma'am.
I would say that emotional intelligence is basically keeping yourself in control so you don't accidentally be rude to someone because of your reactions and what you show on your face.
I like that. Marcin, what you got?
For me, it's understanding others' emotions and their expectations.
Wow, good answer. Walter, what you got?
Kind of same. So be sensitive to others' feeling and their emotions.
Interesting word, sensitivity. And Alice, what you got?
Well, I have similar things, understanding your emotions and others and having a way to control them.
Thanks, Alice. And I'm assuming this is Patricia. Did I get that right?
Yes, it's Polish name, but in English it's Patricia. So I think that important is make a good impression so people like you and want to work with you.
Wow, I want people to like me and I want people to want to work with me. Thanks for the perspective. And Natalie, finish us off.
Just kind of what everyone else is saying, but also your ability to control and also be aware of your own emotions and other people's emotions.
I heard some nice, Natalie. I heard some good words in there. Control my emotions, how I get along with others, what others think of me. Interesting. Tell me your thoughts on what business etiquette is. What is business etiquette? The expected behavior in the workplace. Now peel the layers back. What do you think business etiquette is? Majaya, Brant,
Maya.
Sorry, Maya.
It's all right. Everyone gets it wrong at first. I'd say being respectful towards everyone, no matter what their opinion is.
I like the word respectful. Respectful regardless of. Nice. Dylan.
I think business etiquette is professionalism, being professional towards others.
I got respect. I'm building a block. I'm building a picture here. I got respect. And then Dylan said, what was your word, Dylan?
Professionalism.
Professionalism. Respect, professionalism. I like it. Marcin, what you got?
I would say that it's not breaking some commonly known rules, such as there's plenty of them, but not breaking it, those is crucial for me.
Not breaking the commonly understood rules. Ah, interesting. Zeho, what you got?
I think business etiquette is about it's the basic foundation of what build a solid business or a successful business.
Oh man, great perspective. Chris, what you got?
I'd say it's about efficiency. It's knowing the practices of a business in order to make sure you're doing everything right.
We're going to have some common phrases keep coming up. Effective, efficient. I like that, Chris. Odessa and Vera, you'll finish us off.
I think part of business etiquette is about like respecting privacy and about understanding, like being able to not mix business settings and social settings, or not mix, but understand the line between them.
Interesting perspective. Thank you, Odessa. Vera, what you got, ma'am?
I think it's also like respecting others as well as being responsible for the tasks that or the role that you play.
Respectful again. I want to touch base on these keys. These are the gateways that I think that leads us to effective and efficiency. And you're going to need keys to unlock these gates. Communication is one, and we'll peel the layers back to each one of these. Communication is one. Critical thinking is one. Interpersonal skills is one. Your attitude is one. Teamwork is another gate. Emotional intelligence and work ethic. All right. And these are all keys to get to success. And we'll talk about what success means to you later on. All right. So we're talking about communication. So here's my question about communication. And it sounds so crazy. Like, here's the question. Why is communication important? I want you to think about this in terms of business, in terms of leadership. Why is communication important? Igor, Odessa, is your hand still up if you got to put it down?
Communication allows for the exchange of ideas, and the exchange of ideas allows for like development and increases in the development rate, basically.
Exchange of ideas. That's a great answer, Igor. I really like that. Elijah, what you have?
If something has changed in the company, it's important to communicate what got changed.
Why is it important, Elijah?
Because it could, if the design of a product was changed and nobody was told, they would keep designing the wrong product.
I like it. Balter, what you got?
So I think communication is important, and it's a basic of teamwork.
Okay. Dylan, what you got?
I think communication is really important because no one can know what you're thinking unless you tell them what you're thinking. You can't assume that people are thinking the same thing.
Nice. Nice. No assumptions here. Heidi, what you got?
I think communication is important because it has something to do with being more empathetic and understanding other people's feelings.
Ooh, I like the word. I like the word. Candy bar coming your way. I like the word. Jason, what you got?
With communication, it creates a connection between people. The connection can be as wide as a whole group, or it can just be a couple people.
Man, thanks. Great perspective. I like the connection piece. Marcin, finish us off.
For me, communication is important because two minds are wiser than just a single one.
I like it. It is. Two is greater than one. And so your ability to read, write, speak, and listen is all a part of how I become effective and efficient. It is these four things intertwined together that makes communication is the single most important skill in your life. And in order to be effective and efficient, you must demonstrate the ability to do them all well. That's a key takeaway. That's a key takeaway. All right. You must be able to communicate effective and efficiently when we read, we write, we speak, and especially how we listen. And we'll get into how important listening is later on. Nice. Critical thinking. So here's my first question to you. How do you put yourself in the leadership position? How do you make decisions? How do you make decisions? Whether at home or whether at work, in the classroom, with your friends, how do you make decisions? I guess that's a hard question because I don't see any hands. Jason, how do you make decisions?
When it fits my values, and it depends on like if I come to a liking to it. If it catches my eye, it usually is the final decision I make. And for harder decisions, I use logic and go based off how it will affect me and others, a cause and effect.
Great answer, Jason. I like some of those words, logic, my values. Igor, chime in.
So I take the circumstances into account, and I try to be as logical as possible, but sometimes I also use my feelings.
How do you manage between the logic and the feelings, Igor, if you can?
It depends like on the case, but most of the time, like when you cannot go somewhere with only reason, then you have to take a chance and like trust your gut, right?
I like that. Marcin, what you got?
I investigate all the options, and basing on my experience and experience shared with me by my friends, I make the choice, which seems to be the most reasonable.
Marcin, can I ask you a question before I get to the others? Why do you involve your friends in your decision making?
I involve them because I assure that I don't hurt anyone around me, and
I want to come back to that involving others later on. Maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow when we get to teamwork. So I'll need you to write that one down and make sure we revisit that. Odessa, what you got, ma'am?
Well, I kind of wanted a question for your question. Is because decision making is always something that's been a really big struggle for me. Like it always takes me forever to make a decision because there's always too many opportunities. There's too many ideas out there. And I guess I was just like the guy in the picture kind of, you know, and like, do you think decision making is something that is better quicker, or that when it takes longer? That was kind of my question. Like, is the gut reaction usually the better one, or is it usually the second or the third? You know, like sometimes, yeah, that's kind of question.
Great question, and I'll chime in. So I want to make this as objective as possible, but the answer to the question is always subjective. What works for you? So for me, I'm more of what are the facts? A plus B equals C for me at all costs. I am horrible with decisions because I kind of paralyze myself with all the other options. And at the end of the day, like my first guy, I think Igor said, like I align it with my values and how is it going to benefit me? At the end of the day, that's how I make decisions. So, but you have to figure out what works best for you. I'm going to share with you a system that I use, like, and then we'll progress from there. But it's really subjective. I want to make it objective, meaning take the feelings out of the equation and simply follow the breadcrumbs of the facts. And we'll try to get to that, but it's never a science like that. Patricia and then Maya.
Yes, I want to tell that I like to write pros and cons, and that's given me clear situation.
Oh, I like that. The pros and cons. Maya, Alice, you'll have the last word.
I always think about the effects that my decision will have. I prioritize that actually, and I try to figure out what will, if any of the options will hurt anyone, and if it does, then I avoid it at all costs.
Interesting. I like that, Maya. Alice, finish us off.
Well, I like to see the situation from other perspectives. So I talk it out with either my family members or my friends, and then I just I also try to look into the future and see if the decision I make is the one that I'll be happy about in 10 days, in 5 months, or in 10 years.
Oh, interesting. I heard I like to discuss it with other people so I have different perspectives. I like that. As a leader, why do you think I need to be open-minded? Why do you need to be open-minded as a leader? When you're in charge, and I hate to use the word in charge because I don't like it, but for lack of a better word, when you're leading, why do you need to be open-minded? Are those new hands, or are we going with the, okay, Igor, Chris, Patricia?
So you need to be open-minded in order to get the full picture and actually get a hold of you need to know what your crew is thinking, and maybe some of them have better ideas than you sometimes, and you can miss out on that if you aren't open-minded.
I like that. Maybe I need to get a better picture of things. Chris, what you got?
Decision making is about weighing options. So being open-minded is just trying to see all the options and taking input, so you have a better picture.
Gotcha. Patricia, what you got?
So you have to know that you're not always right. So other people can tell you that, and you're not caring just about yourself, but other people. So they can tell you what they want or what they need.
Great answer, Patricia. You're not always right, so don't be married to your answers only. Colin, what you got?
It's always important to think about new ideas and talk to your peers, and you can maybe learn something from them. You're not always right.
Copy. Kristen, what you got?
Well, essentially, you're leading a system, and you need to be sure that every single part of that system is able to function to its like full purpose, which means that you need to pay attention to what everyone is saying.
Kristen, very mature answer. I like that a lot. A lot. Taron?
Usually, like, leaders have to be more open-minded because they got to think outside the box to solve like problems, because people depend on them for like leadership. So leadership involves solving problems, or at least helping to solve problems and come up with ideas. So if you're closed-minded, none of that's going to happen.
Nice. Walter, what you got?
So I think open-minded, that makes your decision not only by you, and let others out also involved in your decision.
Thanks. Dylan, what you got?
Being open-minded is just really important for being able to be flexible. So like what some people were saying before, with not always, your idea might not always be the best. It's really important to be flexible and being able to take all those different inputs and combine them together.
Nice word, Dylan. I like the word flexibility. Marcin, finish us off.
I think that being open-minded is crucial for finding modern solutions for modern problems that cannot be solved using old methods. And we have to reinvent our way of thinking so as to solve those.
Thanks, Marcin. I appreciate the perspective. A lot of you said, sometimes I go with the logic and sometimes I go with my emotions. Be careful. Be careful. Sometimes we let our emotions drive the car, and it's not the best way to be. Sometimes we should just, again, the facts suggest we should turn left. The map say we should turn left. The terrain say we should turn left, but we're married to going right, and that's not the best way to be. Take the emotions out of the equation and say, what are the facts leading, right? So I want to share with you a step-by-step process that I use that I was telling Patricia about earlier. This is what I do. What's the goal? What's the problem to me achieving that goal? Diagnose those problems, design a workaround those problems, and then I execute. Now, what I really want you to pay attention to is all the skill set and abilities that you need underneath all those steps. High level thinking, visualizing, problems, perceiving high standards. Diagnosing requires me to be logical and see possibilities. Designing is practical. And then execution is self-discipline and result-oriented. Now, I want you to think to yourself, what person you know can check all the boxes that has all these skills in their toolbox? Don't spend a lot of time. Nobody has all these skills. So I want you to think about, when we get to tomorrow, how important it is to surround yourself with the best type. I don't want to say the best type, with a team. Surround yourself with teams so you can check the boxes on all these things. Because I'm telling you, I skip 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm self-disciplined. I'm result-oriented. I'm not a really creative thinker. I'm really not. So I'm missing something in goal setting. I'm missing something in problem. I'm missing something. So the moral of the story is, make sure you surround yourself. And I heard, hey, I bounced my idea off my family. I bounced my idea off my friends. You at any given point can't see what's behind you. So you need somebody on your team that's looking that way. if that makes sense. All right. So this is kind of what I use when I have a decision to make. All right, what's the goal? What's the end game? What am I trying to accomplish? What's going to keep me from getting to that end game? Now let me see what's really the cause of that. Let me design a workaround of that. Now, point, aim, shoot, if that makes sense. All right. Key takeaway: logic versus emotions. Decision making is about try, fail, diagnose, redesign, try again. I'm gonna fast forward. A sticky statement here is you don't fail until you quit. So learn how to try, fail, try, fail, try, fail until you win. Okay. Talk to me about attitude. Give me 20 more minutes and I'll let you guys go do what you do for the rest of your day. I'm so in love with this. Talk to me about attitude. Business attitude, leadership attitude, attitude in general. You can separate those three compartments. Talk to me about attitude. So remember, our overarching goal is to be effective and efficient. How does the attitude impact our ability to be effective and efficient? Tyrone and Kristen, then Colin. Tyrone?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to take my hand out.
Okay. Kristen, what you got, ma'am?
I personally think that attitude is the most important thing because, like,
peel the layers back and tell me why.
All right. It is, sorry, my bird is acting up. It is important for people to understand you and respect you. And if you have a bratty attitude, you know, you're talking other people down, you're complaining, no one's gonna respect you. And that's the first step to anything.
I like that. Respect. I like the word. Colin, what you got?
If you have a good attitude about everything that you do, it'll bring up the attitude of everyone else around you, and it'll ultimately just bring up the work ethic of everybody and the morale.
Good attitude bleeds into my people, bring up morale, bring everybody else up. I like it. Patricia, what you got?
Okay, so I think that when we have positive attitude, it's easier to work with everything, like with other people, and it's just easier for us. And when we're making first or second impression or like talk to other people's, it's just positive people are getting more attention, I think, and that's also important.
Positive. I like the word positive. Jason, what you got? Balter, I skipped you. I'm coming back, I promise.
So from my opinion, I think attitude is probably one of the leading keys of like visual demonstration. So if you show a negative attitude, a lot of people see it right away. If you show a positive attitude, a lot of people will also see that. So it kind of shows like a first impression, and also it's just the leading factor for how you work in the future, or it puts you in your own mindset on if you want to work harder or not.
Gotcha. Thanks, Jason. Balter, then Zale, Julia, I can't pronounce, Jacob, and Heidi finishes off. Balter, what you got?
I think attitude is key to communicate. It shows your passion and your feelings, and it helps you to communicate efficiently.
Yeah. Thanks, Balter. Zeho, what you got?
I believe that if I have a negative altitude, there's a higher chance that I will fail. And if I have a positive altitude, even if I fail, I won't feel bad for myself because I tried, I didn't give up. And I think that's the most important part.
Thank you, Jacob. Andrew, what you got?
Yeah, I think a good attitude could be an encouragement when you are not being very successful or not being very positive. And it could be a good motivation when you are being successful and when you are actually doing a good job. So it can be a positive thing in both when you're experiencing a negative or positive experience.
Thanks, Andrew. Julia?
For a leader, an attitude can make the difference between the leader is perceived as a good example or a dictator.
I like that, Julia. Heidi, what you got?
I think attitude is important because if you keep judging people, you're not going to be able to communicate.
Copy. Vera, you got the last word.
I think attitude is also important because it impacts like the surroundings. Like if you're really motivated on something, like your team members will also be motivated and want to like accomplish the task.
Got you. I like that. Let me chime in. So when I say attitude, these are the characteristics I want in a person's attitude that I want to be around, I want to work with, I want to work for, I want working for me. First of all, I want you honest. Well, Steve, what do you mean? I want you to be radically truthful. And sometimes the truth hurts, but I still want to hear it. I still want to hear it. Trust is the foundation of any relationship. So if you can't be honest with me, Andrew, then why do you want somebody around that can't be honest with you? Make sense? Secondly, I want you to have integrity. Well, what do you mean when you say integrity, Steve? The value we place on ourselves, not only, but also the value we place on others. How do I treat Andrew in his absence? When Andrew's not around, am I talking to Julia about Andrew and how bad I don't like Andrew? That's not integrity, okay? Then I want you to have uncanny confidence. Why do I need confidence? Here's the linchpin here. If you don't believe in you, nobody else on this team will believe in you. Confidence may be my most important characteristics that has gotten me to this point. Odessa, you have a question? I saw your hand up.
Yeah, I was wondering about the difference in, like, I know integrity and honesty are different things, but integrity, honesty, a lot of times is defined as what you do in others' absence, what you do when no one's looking. But I feel like that feels a lot like being honest and doing the right thing. So what's really the key difference there between those two?
So I would really say, from Stephen's perspective, honesty is about my attitude as a whole, what my values are, what's right and wrong to me. And integrity is, hey, I'm gonna show up at 11 o'clock. And I really show up at 11 o'clock. I mean what I say and I say what I mean. Honest is, hey, I don't like that. And that could be subjective, but to me, I don't like that. And I'm being honest with you. Hey, I think this is the wrong direction for our company to go in. I have a right to express myself about the direction. Integrity is say what you mean what you say. Though that's the difference between the two, if that makes sense, Odessa.
So by integrity, you also mean reliability and being like accountable.
And so what you'll start to see is we painting this picture and they start to align with one another. They start to intersect with one another. They start to be interwoven with one another. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, we're painting this beautiful work of art, and you'll start to see these things start to overlap. So, and I talked about confidence, but last and not least, but on this screen is respectfulness. Here's how Stephen operates, and here's how Stephen wants you to operate. We treat everybody, I mean everybody, with a high degree of respect, regardless of gender, age, race, whatever. Everybody gets treated with the same level of respect. And I mean, it's off the chart. Make sense? So these are the 4 things that I'm looking for when I say, what does your attitude look like? Or what I want your attitude to look like. I want you to be honest. I mean, I don't want you to filter. Now, I don't mean be rude, but I want you to say, hey, I don't think this is a good idea for about the company. You have the right to express that. I want you to say, hey, I mean this because I said this. And I want you to be confident in your ability and your skills to do the job. And I want you to express this ethics of honor. We treat everybody with the highest degree of respect. Those things are just enormous to me. All right. Key takeaway. You get to choose your reaction. And at the end of the day, I just want you to be nice. Hello, goodbye, thank you, please. Just niceties. That's really all I really want you to be. That's what really good people, and I say good people, are about. Just be nice. You can be a leader and just be nice. No, I don't like that. Thank you. Period. We move on to the next. Interpersonal skills. I got 13 minutes and I got 13 slides. No way. Talk to me about interpersonal skills. And I really want to get stuck on empathetic listening. Influences, I want you to be okay with things not going your way. In your journey, there are going to be things that you don't like. Here's my advice, Steve talking to you. Get comfortable with that. I want you to genuinely and peacefully be okay with things that's out of your control. So what we do is we stay in our influence of control. Control the things you can control, influence the things you can influence. The rest of it, you let go. What is your impact on others? You see how these things start to bleed in one another, right? Networking. Networking is, I'm talking about your ability to establish relationships with other people. Your ability to establish relationship with other people. Active listening. I want you to be quick to listen and slow to speak. Here's my question. Why is listening so important? We talked about communication, reading, writing, speaking, but why is listening so important? Chime in here, give me something. Odessa, is your hand up or you forgot to put it down?
I forgot to put it down, but I have something else.
Shoot.
I was just gonna say about empathetic listening is, along with being open-minded, is just really listening to what the other person's saying, especially at a time of disagreement or argument, not just for how you're going to refute them or rebuttal or come up with a response, but actually considering changing your mind.
I want to, before I go to you, Patricia, and the rest of you, I want to park the car here for a second, and I want to chime in on something that Odessa just said. Like, there are going to be disagreements, but usually the disagreements come because Stephen wasn't really listening to Odessa's perspective. So when I say empathetic listening, I want you to listen with the intent to understand. How I want to be understood is how I'm trying to understand Odessa. That is really about what active listening is all about. Patricia, you up, Igor, followed by Julia.
Okay, so like someone said earlier, no, we can't read minds. And if we don't listen other people's, we don't know what they want to tell us, what they need, what are their ideas, and we need other people's, so everything could be okay. Like, we also don't know what everybody wants, so we can see other views on situation and in our product or our methods.
Thanks, Patricia.
Oh, and I wanted to earlier, like, to attitude, but you said that later that believing in yourself is important, because when we believe in yourself and our product, our methods, people trust us more. So.
Copy that. Thanks for the perspective. Igor, Julia, and I'm gonna have to go to the next slide, guys, because I'm running out of time. So I see you, Balter, I see you, Jason. I'll get you next time.
So in my opinion, when I'm talking, I'm just repeating what I think already, like, out loud, and I'm not like learning anything new. And when I'm listening, then I'm absorbing new information, and I feel like that's like valuable for me.
Most times we're so busy trying to convince the other person that we're right, as opposed to really listening to understand their perspective. And we'll get into that later on as well. But that's really what usually happens when we're having a conversation. I need to convince you that I'm right. And that's not the goal of communication. Julia, have the last word.
I think that if you don't listen to somebody else, then there's no point in conversation, because that's just a waste of time.
Julia, I like that, man. I really like that a lot. And then you were talking about motivation, guys. That's just, what motivates you? That's an internal skill. So yeah, key takeaway, inside out approach. Don't let how people treat you impact how you treat them. Sticky statement. Don't let how people treat you impact how you treat them. One of my things is just be nice. You can encounter the biggest, my dad was the meanest dude I've ever met. Now anybody else I meet, you ain't nothing compared to my dad, so I can just be nice. So thank you, Dad, for being mean and prepping me to be nice to everybody. Make sense? Just be nice. Teamwork. I want to run through this and we'll talk about teamwork further tomorrow. Here's what I look for in a team member. Humble, hungry, smart, interdependent. Let me run through these. Humble, I put the team first. I want you to put the team first, right? Hungry, I'm always driven to want more. I want more responsibilities. I can do more for the team, not for you, but for the team, okay? Smart, I don't mean book smart. 1 + 1 = 2, not that smart. Smart meaning I know how to treat people. Again, you see how these things start to intertwine with one another? Smart meaning I'm nice, I know how to treat people, I listen with empathy, right? And then the last one is interdependence. 1 + 1 = 3, 2 is greater than 1. The team, we're only as strong as the team. The dream is only as strong as the team. So if you have a bad team surrounding you, guess what? You're not going to be effective and efficient. So surround yourself with good people, demonstrate a good team so we can be winners. Quote. Merson, what you got?
May I have a question? Because I feel strong first for this
Absolutely.
answer.
We're just having a casual conversation amongst friends. You have the table, sir.
So among interpersonal skills, there was some mentioning that we should accept things that we cannot change. And what shall we do if we don't accept something that is beyond our influence? Like we cannot influence something that just exists and we can do nothing about it. What should we do then?
So I had to learn this the hard way. You need to be genuinely and peacefully okay with those outcomes. If you can't, you have no influence and you can't control them. The sun came up this morning, regardless if I wanted to or not. You have to learn how to be genuinely and peacefully okay, even if you don't like it. So you're going to be on a team and they want to go right. Everybody on the team wants to go right except you. You got to be okay with that and at peace with it. Because if you don't, you're going to drive yourself crazy trying to go against the grain. Now people don't like you. Now people don't want you on that team. Hey, if the consensus is we're going right, go right. You have no obligation. You have no responsibility. You have no right to obstruct what we're trying to do here, if that makes sense. Marcin, did I answer your question?
Yes, and is it always a bad thing to go against this stream if all people say that we should go right, for example?
So it's two different things. You either we're talking about how I manage my decision making, but that decision making could be different as it relates to a team aspect. Individually, what's my goal? What's my problem? What's my design? What's my diagnosis? What's my design? What's my execution? Team-wise, hey, we're talking about teamwork tomorrow, but it's always about the collaboration and as a consensus. If we decide we're going right and I'm really against going left, yeah, the best thing to do is go right because that's what the team wants to do. So remember what I said is, let me go back here. Humbleness is putting the team first, even though I think we may have a better option going left. Marcin, what you have the obligation and the responsibility to do is speak your piece and be done with it. Because if the team wants to go right, hey, I told you what I look like going left. You want to go right? I'm on board with the team, so I'm going right, if that makes sense. Okay?
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. So key takeaway with teamwork is the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And we'll get into teamwork more tomorrow, but I want you to know this, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And that's what Marcin and I was just talking about. Hey, the team first, all right? I got 4 minutes. Emotional intelligence, we spoke on. Some key things I want you to think about. Self-awareness. What is self-awareness, Steve? Who I am and who I'm not. All of you are good at something. Stay in that lane. If you're not good at it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Okay? Self-management, self-control, self-discipline. Hey, I know I got to get up early. I probably shouldn't stay up all night. Hey, I know I said I was going to get this done at 11 o'clock. I probably should do it before 10:59. A high degree of right and wrong internally, okay? Social awareness. This is big to me. Align yourself with what you see and what the world sees. Usually those two things is a big continental divide. The Steve I give you is not the same Steve that I see in the mirror. Most of us see ourselves through rose-colored glasses, right? That's not how the world sees us. So the goal is try to align those two, all right? And then we talked about empathy till, here's my final comment on empathy for today. Put yourself in the seat of the other person, okay? Now, if I don't want to be treated that way or talked to that way, then why would I do it to another person? Empathy, that's empathy. Put yourself in the other person's seat. Now, how do I want to be treated? How do I want to be talked to? I want you in your downtime this evening, I want you to think about a SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis is simply your strengths, your weakness, your threats, and your opportunities. What's your gifts? What are you not good at? And I want you to look at these threats. The biggest threat to you, your dream, your goal is going to be people, because everybody won't believe in your dream. Everybody will not believe in your dream, and you got to be okay with that. All right. And then your opportunity is, like I told you before, everybody has a degree of genius in them. You just got to find it. That's your job. You just got to find it and align with that. Golden rule, do unto others better than you would have them do unto you. Remember, I'm giving you some educational keys that you won't learn in class. When you go off to college and you're in business 101, they're not gonna tell you this, right? This is more from the inside out kind of stuff. Wherever you go work, they're gonna teach you how to do their thing the way they want it to be done. But if you take these keys with you, now you can open the gateway. All right? Show up on time, give me 100%, make a promise, keep a promise. That's work ethic, because half of you won't show up. The other half that shows up, they won't show up on time. The other half of that, they won't show up and be dedicated to the work. Now I'm down to like 5 people, right? Show up on time, ready to work, give 100%, mean what you say what you mean. Okay? Key takeaway, anything you want out of life is on the other side of hard. You got to be willing to pay the price. And these are my 3 cornerstones. I want people with high character, high common sense, and high capacity. That's what I want. And to me, that's what being effective and efficient is all about. I didn't say anything about somebody else. All this stuff starts with me. All of it starts with me, inside out. All right? That's my presentation for today, guys. I appreciate you.